Hey, what's going on, guys? In today's video, I'm going to be bringing you guys a beginner's guide to the cycle. So a ton of new players have been coming into the Discord asking a ton of questions. So hopefully this will help you guys out, get some of those questions answered. So once you load up the cycle, you're going to come to this launch page. At the top of your screen, you're going to notice these sections which you can go to. So let's start from left to right. On the far left, you're going to see your message center. This is basically where the factions that you've been working for are going to message you, basically saying thank you and maybe even gifting you some blueprints to craft weapons. So next to the message center, we can see our squad menu. This is basically where we're able to invite people who are in the game. Just keep in mind that these people do have to be added as an Epic Games friend before you're able to invite them. So to the right of the squad, we see the launch page, which we come on to first. So let's go ahead and talk about that now. So if you look at the bottom middle of your screen, you're going to see the game modes. Currently, Lone Wolf is not available because they're testing out their servers with each game mode. So we have Lone Wolf, Duos, and Squads. Underneath that, you can see a basic description of each of these. So now let's move on to the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. Here you're going to find the tutorial and the training ground. In the tutorial, you basically learn the basics about the game. You can go to the training ground and learn more in depth about the mechanics and how to actually play the game. So be sure to head over to that. I've made a video about the training ground, so that's going to be on an info card on the top right hand corner of your screen right now. So that's basically all for the launch page. Let's go ahead and move on to the loadout screen. So in the loadout screen, you're going to be able to change your kit, your weapons, and your abilities. You can only hold 4 weapons, 4 abilities, and 1 pistol to start off the game. You can only choose 1 kit to play each round, and this cannot be changed during the middle of the game. So be sure to choose wisely. So let's go ahead and start at the kits. If you hover over the selection, you're going to be able to change your kit from this loadout screen. Basically, you have the choice for 5 kits, and we'll get more in depth with that in the crafting screen. But right now, this is basically where you just get to change your kit. So you can do this with pistols as well. Just hover over it and click on it to change it. You do load out with a starting pistol, so be sure to choose wisely just because this is the weapon that you're going to start the game with. So now here are the weapons and abilities. The weapons and abilities are able to be purchased with the credits that you earn in-game by killing monsters or other enemies on Fortuna. So you can choose these to go into the gear store, which you can access inside the game. So that's basically it for the loadout screen. Let's go ahead and move on to the crafting page. So on the crafting page, you're going to come on to the primary weapons. You can sort from price, either lowest to highest or highest to lowest, or alphabetical order. I always go for price lowest to highest just because I like seeing those lower credits first. You can also sort by what type of gun you want to see. So for example, if I just wanted to see the assault rifles in the game, I'd be able to click that. But I'm going to go back to all categories. You can also sort by the 3 factions in the game: Korolev, Osiris, and ICA. So not all of the guns are going to be unlocked right away. Blueprints for weapons come whenever you upgrade your factions. I don't have any weapons that I'm not able to craft because I am the highest faction levels possible, which is 10 currently in the game. But if you see this icon right here, but it's red, then you are not able to craft that because you do not have the correct materials. And if you aren't a high enough faction, then you will see a lock icon right here on your screen. But since I am able to craft this, I'm going to show you guys how to craft a blueprint that you're able to craft right now. So looking on the right side of your screen, at this part right here, you're going to be able to see 2 numbers, a 23 and a 3. So the 3 is how many I need to make this weapon, and the 23 is how many I have. So since I have enough of all the materials, I'm able to just click the weapon and click craft. This is going to craft your weapon. Once you craft it, you can select a spot or you can just close to not use it. So let's go ahead and head back onto that page. So I'm going to choose the C32 bolt action Mark II weapon. So once you come to this page, you're able to see a basic description of what this weapon's about. And then you're able to choose from either a basic or detailed statistic viewpoint of this weapon. So the basic is going to give you fire rate, reload speed, range stability, damage, and clip size. And then if you want to go more in depth, then you can of course press detail and find all the statistics for each weapon. So in the middle of the screen, you're going to be able to apply mods to your weapons. So there's a possibility of 3 mods to be applied on this weapon. So once you click on it, you're going to have the choice of many mods to improve. As you guys can see, this has a green number next to time to ADS, so that means that it's improved time. Next to it in parentheses, you're going to see the improved time, which in this case is 0.06 seconds. So for example, next to time to ADS, this has a red number. This means that it's going to take longer to ADS. And this is by 0.06 seconds, so it's not that much, but it's still worse, so it appears in a red number. If you want to craft a mod, you can see the required materials down here, and if you want to craft it, just click the craft button. So below all of the mods, you have your weapon skins. You can choose weapon skins here, and you do have to unlock them. Right now, the only way to unlock weapon skins is through the Founders Pack, but we will get to that later. So that's all that we need to know about the primary weapons, so let's go ahead and head over to the secondary weapons. So like I said before, the secondary weapons are the weapons that you load into the match with. You can only have one, so I suggest going into the training ground and trying them all out. So I've actually made a video on what my favorite secondary weapon is, and that will be in an info card on the top right hand corner of your screen right now. So just like the primary weapons, you can apply mods and weapon skins to a secondary weapon. And it has the same layout as the primary weapons, so you're going to get your basic paragraphs basically explaining the weapon, and then you can go into basic or detailed statistics. So I basically already explained all this with the primary weapons, so I'm not going to go too in depth with it. So the next thing that we have are the gadgets. The gadgets will take up a spot as a weapon in game, and you can only carry 4, like I said, in the loadout screen. So be sure to maybe carry maybe 1, but I wouldn't suggest carrying more than 1. But then again, this is of course how you guys want to play, so if you guys do want to do this, then go ahead, be my guest. So the next thing that we have are the abilities. You can carry 4 abilities each game, but you can only choose 2 to carry at one point in the game. So if you do have a ability selected that you're going to be able to put into the gear store, it's going to have a yellow bar on the left side of the icon. So for example, right now I'm carrying the directional warp, the heavy turret, the surveillance ward, and the orbital bombardment. The next thing that we need to talk about are the kits. We already went basically in depth with these, but we're just going to go ahead and talk about them one more time. So this is the anti-quick suit. It's basically going to allow you to move faster than all the rest of the kits. You are giving up some health with this since it does have 550 health. But if you guys look over here, you're going to be able to see health, max shield, and movement speed. You're also going to be able to see what faction this kit is part of. So the anti-quick suit is the Osiris faction. So heading over to the next one, we have the basic prospector kit. This is the one that's automatically going to be defaulted, but I would definitely recommend changing that. I have a video on what I think the best kit is to use in the cycles, so be sure to go check that out. It's on an info card on the top right hand corner of your screen. So the basic prospector kit Mark II is basically the same thing as the basic prospector kit, except it was going to have the ability to be modded, but I don't know if they're still doing that. So coming over to the right of that, we have the boxer warsuit. This suit is from the Korolev faction, and it basically grants you more health than the rest of the other kits. To the right of that, we have the dragonfly flight suit. This basically makes a jetpack on your back, and it allows you to fly. You have a bit more health than the anti-quick suit, but you still have less than the boxer warsuit. So those are all the kits. Be sure to test all of them out in the training ground before you choose one. So the next thing that we need to go to is the materials page. I've already talked about what it takes to craft everything, which are materials, and here you're able to see how many of each material you have. You can also find over here where they can be found. So it says for the Chelani feathers, you can be found almost anywhere on the surface of Fortuna 3, often recovered from local wildlife. So for some of the rarer ones, which are in the orange, you can definitely find them in certain places. So for example, let's do focus crystals. They can be found near waterfalls. So basically you'd want to go to a water part of the map, but I would just suggest getting good at the game where you get higher than 20 VPs, because this is where you're going to get most of your materials from. So I already touched on the orange being the rare materials, but the next rarest are these purple ones. These are uncommon. So these are pretty easy to find, but they're not the easiest. The easiest ones to find are the common ones. And those are basically, you can find them almost any single game that you play. So I think that that's all we need to talk about for the crafting page, but let's go ahead and hop into the next page, which is factions. Here you can see the 3 factions that are in the game, and underneath them you can see a basic description of each of them, and you guys know how to read, so I'm gonna go ahead and just not read them for you. So above that, you can see what level you are with your level title, I guess. And as you guys can see, I'm level 10 on all factions. So I basically reached the max standing point at this game. So to the right of factions, we have costume. This is where you can basically change up how your character looks. So you can change the head. You can even change the hair color. And then you have the base suit, which you can basically just change. Right now, I only have 2 things unlocked, but you guys can maybe get some more, and I'll explain that later. So the next thing that we have are the emotes, because you can emote in this game, but that's not too important as this is a beginner guide, so I'm not going to touch too much about that. So on the right side of our character, we're able to change the chest, the gloves, and the boots. It's basically the same as head and base suit, so you guys can just look into that yourself. So right over here, we see the archetype. The archetype is basically your character. You can change it from champion to prospector like I had, to tracker, to foreman, and to syndicate enforcer. This doesn't do too much, so I'm not really going to go too in depth. It's basically just how you want to look. So the last page that we have is the Founders Pack. This is basically how you're going to upgrade your skins and get even better ones. So we have 3 levels: the Scout Pack, the Explorer Pack, and the Prospector Pack. As you guys can see, the Scout Pack is going to be $10, the Explorer Pack is going to be $30, and the Prospector Pack is going to be $60. So each of these include some Arium. Right now there's no use for Arium, but if I had to guess, that's how they're going to make us purchase new skins. So you definitely get a good deal on them. So below the currency that we get, we actually get either emotes or character customization, which are what you see in the costume page. So you don't get any emotes for the Scout Pack, but you do get 2 emotes for the Prospector Pack and 1 emote for the Explorer Pack. So as you guys can probably tell, the more expensive the pack is, the more stuff you're going to get. So for example, you get a ton of things for the Prospector Pack, and you get a decent amount of stuff for the Explorer Pack, and for the Scout Pack, you only get 1 chest piece. So below that, you're going to find the weapon skins that you unlock. Right now, you can only unlock 2 weapon skins for the Scout Pack, and it's 5 for the Explorer Pack. And then you also get 8 weapon skins for the Prospector Pack. So if you guys do want to support the devs in the development of this game, be sure to head over here and help them out by purchasing one of these packs. I definitely am going to be purchasing it in the future, so I'm just waiting to do that. But next to Founder Pack, we can see the Arium logo right here. That's basically how much Arium you have. So if you do purchase the Prospectors Pack, you are going to be getting that. Right now, there's no way to unlock Arium inside of the game, so you can only get them from purchasing the Prospector Pack. To the right of the Arium logo, we have the menu. This is basically where you can report a bug if you find one in-game. And you can also change your settings from this page. I'm probably going to go more in depth with the settings in a different video, so stay on the lookout for that. So we focus everything on the main menu, so let's go ahead and go into a game where I can basically show you guys some more things. I'm just going to go into the training ground so that I don't get killed in a regular game. So once you load into a game, you're going to drop from this pod where basically it's just transporting you to the world. So on the top left-hand corner of your screen, you can see the mini-map where you can see either sometimes players, you can see what contracts are nearby, or like the completion of contracts. Next to that, you see tab, which lets you unlock the leaderboard, and it also pulls up a bigger map. So next to tab, we see our placement. Right now, since nobody's in my game, I am in first place. Next to that, you can see stars. This is basically how many VPs you have. That's basically what we've been calling them, and those are virtual points. So when I talked about earlier getting 20 VPs, that is what I'm talking about. You want to get that number to 20. So below the minimap, you can see the contracts that are available each game. Each match, there are 4 contracts that are there the whole game, and then there's a few more that are able to be unlocked. So these are either Cycle Spike, the evac where you want to clear evac, and you get 1 point for evacing the island. So once you complete a contract, it's going to look like this. It's going to show you how much credits you unlocked and how many VPs you got from completing it. Once you complete it, it will reset and you have even more to do. So you're not over once you complete a contract. You definitely have to just keep on doing as much as possible. So I am uploading tutorials on how to complete the contracts for you guys. So that's going to be in a playlist that will be found on the info card to the top right hand corner of your screen. So moving on, we are going to head to the bottom. In the bottom middle, you're going to be able to see your health bar and your shields. The blue is going to be your shields and the white is your health. So next to that, you can see Q and E. This is where we put our abilities. So for example, if you hover over an ability, you can either press Q to pick it up in one spot or E to pick it up in another slot. You can hold a max of 2 abilities. So to the left of our abilities, we can see the amount of credits that we have. Then underneath that, we have G, which is our keybind for the store. So let's press that and let's go into the gear store. So in the gear store, we can see our 4 weapons and 4 abilities that we chose to bring into our match. To the right of that, we have miscellaneous. These are the vehicles. So as you guys can see, it just spawns in a vehicle. So if you want to interact with a weapon, you're just going to want to head over to it and press F. This is basically how you pick them up and put them into your inventory, which is found on the bottom right hand corner of your screen. But I did forget something. On the bottom left hand corner of your screen, you can see what kit you're using. It's not too important, but it is nice to know if you ever forget. So on the top middle of your screen, you're going to be able to see how much time is left in each match of the cycle. So be sure not to forget about this, because if it starts getting close to 0, you're going to want to head over to the evac point so that you can leave the island and not die to the radiation. So guys, I do think that wraps up this beginner guide to the cycle. I hope all you guys did enjoy and this did help you out. So be sure to let me know if it did, and be sure to like the video if you guys did enjoy and want more of this content. I'm producing daily cycle content on this channel. It's either going to be at 2 o'clock p.m., but it's probably going to start being 4 o'clock p.m. because I am about to go back to school. But be sure to subscribe with notifications on so that you don't miss any content at all. But other than that, I think that's it. So I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.